Welcome back to the Affordable Housing Centers of Pennsylvania. It's Monday, November 6th, and today we have a special guest with us. It's Michelle Snow, the career coach. Our previous video blogs, we have talked about how one can be able to increase their wealth, increase their income, basically because by looking at decreasing their expenses, trying to, like, for example, focus on couponing or other ways that you can try to minimize the monthly expenses. Today we're going to talk about how one can be able to build a progressive career path, and this is going to be a series of multiple video blogs that we're going to have with Michelle Snow this coming month, and we're happy to have her here today. So today's topic, we're going to talk about forging a progressive career path. So I want to start off with Michelle. In today's world, in terms of focusing on someone's talents and interests, how can they utilize that to create a career path that is most desirable for them?
Well, I will just jump right in and say to you, if you or someone you know is still, quite frankly, just trying to figure it out, we wish that the fairy tale was true, that once you became of a certain age or finished a certain level of education, that we would have it all together, right? Isn't that the story that we thought we would have? But you know people that are still 70, still trying to figure out, what am I going to do when I grow up?
Oh, so many people have their major in something, they have a career in something else, based in that example.
Exactly. So when I find, when I get a chance to support a professional who still is trying to figure out, how can you compose a career path that is most desirable based on your talent and interests. Take Steve Harvey's advice. What is it that you do very well, untrained and unrehearsed? What is it that you are a superstar at? When you think about a fish in water, there's no more thinking. They just are. They're in their place and they're just making it happen. So really research and assess what am I good at, passionate at, and would probably do without pay, right? Wouldn't necessarily want to do, Ken.
We would not choose to do that.
But you're so good at it, so clever at it, that it will come to you naturally. And if you can find something that encompasses some of that skill set, that is a good start.
And as you go along in terms of finding that, as far as talent and your interests, then while you go through it, you're going to experience some challenges, roadblocks. So
we wish it was perfect.
I wish it was perfect, but it can't be. So how does one overcome those hurdles?
Okay, so now you've got an idea of something that you're passionate about. You're putting it into action. You're finding a way to perhaps make an income from it. Now you hit challenge, right? You hit something that derails you, a financial crisis, a health crisis, a work-related crisis, a relationship. And those are the things that just help to set you back. So one of the first things to overcome it is to recognize it and to own it. Too often we make the effort to derail, because who wants to feel pain? When you get pinched, stop it, hey, cut it out, that hurts. The pain, if you can identify it as something I like to call it's necessary, right? I'm moving away from saying it's hard, it's so hard, to identifying the pain as it's necessary. And if you can put it in its proper box and not look at it as something that's necessarily derailing you, but it's making you better, then you're more likely to stick with it.
Lastly, I would also think, because you have your talent, interests, and you also have to convince other people, because quite frankly, to build a career, other people have to pay you to be able to perform your talents, perform your interests. Therefore, how do you make sure you have other people aware of those talents, interests, and as well as your capacities, not only when you get started, but then as well as you move along in your career journey, to make sure you're actually recognized?
So you're talking about brand at work. Is that is that what it is?
Your own brand.
All right. So now you're at work. You're in your flow. You found something that you like. You found a way to overcome your hurdles. Now you got to still keep a positive reputation, as if the other stuff wasn't enough by itself. Well, I made this mistake, and I would say to you that when I was working in corporate America, when I finally got grounded, the mistake I made was what my community and parents taught me. You got to work harder than everybody else, so go do your job and do it well. And they did not teach me the power of my reputation. They only told me that you had to go and work very hard. And I made the mistake of not caring about the feelings and the perception of my peers, because my mindset was, I'm doing my job. I'm good at this job. Look at my record, look at my data, look at my statistics. So I threw away and dismissed personal brand. And what I didn't know, Ken, back then, over 10 years ago, was that my brain never slept. It was always walking and knocking on doors. It was always sitting having coffee with people without my permission. It was in meetings making decisions for me that I had no control over. And when word got back about me, yes, she's a great worker, but we don't like her. She got a chip on her shoulder. She got an attitude. She thinks everybody's against her. And I was the one who was always getting laid off. Wouldn't you know that, right? So my brilliance wasn't enough. How do you make people feel when they are with you and not in your presence was vital. And that's what also helped me to launch my business today.
And so with that, it's kind of like not only building the skills, but then building the personal qualities in that respect. Because quite frankly, in corporate America, major nonprofits, healthcare, you're going to engage with other people to help them make decisions. So in terms of building those personal relationships is going to be critical, but then as well as like knowing how to interact with the others is going to be also that vital as well in terms of your own success.
If you do not take interpersonal skills seriously, it doesn't matter what amazing job you get, you are going to be in trouble, because there's always some back house meeting about you, whether they should put you in the community, whether they should keep you, trade you, put someone else in that position. There's always a back house meeting about you, period. Even if it was, hey, did Michelle open the door for you? Oh yeah, she opened the door with an attitude, right? There's always somebody talking about you, and you cannot control it. And one of the tips that I want to leave with the community when it comes to relationships and your personal brand at work is to be okay with the fact that you recognize that everyone doesn't think or function like you. And because I was always the aggressor, pow, charge, let's get it done, right? All this fire was always going. I always worked in environments with opposite behavior styles. And so I thought that something was wrong with them, and they thought something was wrong with me. But once we accepted that we're made differently to complement each other, then that's when the magic happened.
Well, I'd like to thank you for coming today on like this our first topic, forging a progressive career path. So we look forward to joining you in our future video blogs. Thank you.